Okay, I'm recording our session tonight for those who are interested who weren't able to join us. And what I am going to do is I am going to mute everybody right now because we want to begin by welcoming Kayla Ship, who is with us from Keshet Educational Journeys, and again, who was raised in the Beth Am community in Randolph, and I know a number of you know her and her parents. And Kayla will be leading the trip with me, and so I'm going to mute everybody, and I'm going to unmute Kayla. Hold on a second. There we go. And you are unmuted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up on the screen the itinerary for the trip. And after Kayla walks us through the itinerary, she'll take us through quickly the documents for registration for the trip and answer. And then at the end, we'll open things up for questions. If you have any questions while we're going through the itinerary, please use the chat function and I will read any questions that come across out loud to Kayla. So let me share screen and put this up. And Kayla, you are on.
All right. So I'm just going to get to it quickly because I know that we are limited on time, and I just want to run through the itinerary. The way the program is set right now, the dates work for the rabbi schedule and my schedule, and the actual departure and return dates match with the El Al nonstop from Boston. However, right now there's no group space on that flight. So we have confirmed flights on United, and which are not in here, but okay, it's not, right now we're on United through Newark, and I'll keep rechecking, and if it's possible to switch us back over to El Al, then we'll do that, because I do think that most of us would prefer to be on that nonstop. But anyway, departure from Boston on Sunday and arriving Monday. This is the El Al arrival time. The United arrival time is a little bit later. But then I think, was it earlier? Hold on a second. I think that we had let me just double check. I can't get through there. Okay.
Kayla, I have it as 9:20 a.m.
Right, and I think I added in going to tree planting at Neot Kedumim at the...
So the United flight is earlier, but for now, let's base it on...
Right, let's base it on this. Okay, and so if we get in earlier, then we'll have tree planting at the Neot Kedumim Biblical Nature Reserve and sort of a welcome lunch and everything, and then have dinner at the hotel instead of going out. We're staying at Tal, which is a lovely 4-star boutique hotel near the port area, the Namal, and it has been completely renovated and just reopened only a few months ago. So it's in great shape, great location. The rooms, like most rooms at hotels in Israel and Tel Aviv, are on the small side, but they're very well designed, and the decor is nice and the food's very good. Tuesday, we'll start exploring Tel Aviv and begin with a tour of the Reuven Rubin Museum. So he, like many of the others who came in the 20s and 30s, really wanted to make a new Hebrew city, Hebrew culture, and his art really tells the story of the beginning of the state of pre-state and state of Israel. And it's a small museum. The docents are excellent. And then that's right near Nachal Benjamin, which is where there's the weekly arts and crafts fair. So everyone will have time to walk through there and grab lunch. It's also right where the Carmel Shuk is. And then we'll go to the Innovation Center, and really it is a very interactive, I wouldn't even call it a museum, in the Israeli Stock Exchange, where we learn why Israel, this tiny little nation, has become such a startup dynamo and really leads the world in high tech. The next day, we'll be checking out. Breakfast at hotel. Those of you have probably heard about the famous Israeli breakfasts, and they're all really a lot. So you have to plan enough time to eat breakfast every morning, because it'll take you a while to get through the buffet. Anyway, we're gonna start with Dr. Rachel Korazim, And she's an amazing, amazing teacher. I don't know, Rabbi, did you ever study with her at Hartman or anything? Or
No,
Pardes?
but I've always used her when I've been leading after we go to Yad Vashem to teach Holocaust poetry. She's an amazing poet.
She's amazing, amazing teacher. And the description doesn't do anything justice here, but everyone is blown away. She uses Israeli literature, Hebrew literature, and really brings you into the internal Israeli discussion. She's amazing. And the idea of the Tale of Two Cities, so sort of like looking at thoughts of Jerusalem and thoughts of Tel Aviv. And then we're going to head north and go to Tzipori, which is a wonderful archaeological site and very important. That's where the Mishnah was compiled. Gorgeous mosaics, ancient synagogue, really a wonderful place to explore. And then we'll also do read a little Mishnah ourselves before having some wine tasting at the Jezreel Winery. It's a boutique winery on Kibbutz Hanaton, which Hanaton was founded by the conservative movement. So it's a great, great winery. And from then we'll continue our way all the way to the Kinneret, and we are staying at, I believe, Nofkin Osar, right?
Yes, Nofkin Osar.
Okay, so you have to, there we are. Nofkin Osar, lovely kibbutz hotel on the Sea of Galilee. Great location, really lovely grounds. And that will be our base. For the next day to explore, first, we're going to go up to the Golan. We're going to go to Tel Saki, which is the southern Golan, and at there meet with Yaakov Salavan, he was a tank commander. He's a captain in the IDF. He still works, even in his private life, is still connected to the IDF. And we'll learn about what happened to Tel Saki in '73, but more importantly, what's going on the other side of the border. So even though Syria has calmed down a little bit, it's still a mess, and Iran is still there. And to understand what's going on, it's very dynamic and changes every day. And also have a chance to meet some soldiers, either on their base or they'll come up to us, depending on what's going on. And we'll stop for lunch in Katzrin before heading over to Tzfat in the Upper Galilee, visiting some of the ancient synagogues and really discussing why Tzfat became the mystical center it was in the 16th century. And also meet with a local artist, and he'll explain how his art reflects different ideas and symbolism from Kabbalah. And we'll return to Nofkin Osar for dinner, and then we'll meet with an honest-to-goodness kibbutznik and talk about kibbutz life in 2021 and how different, the development of kibbutz and how it's going through changes. A lot of them have gone through privatization, and talk about how you still try to have a socialist, idealist way of life within a free market capitalistic society at large. So it's interesting. And then Friday, we'll make our way to Jerusalem, but we're going to stop first at Kibbutz Eliyahu, which is a religious kibbutz. And they really were the first ones to go organic in the 70s and led this idea of organic farming and sustainability and everything. And they now have a bug factory. They have a very successful bug business. So they make all sorts of bugs for different reasons, but some of them eat pests. So instead of needing pesticides, then you just introduce the right critter to eat the other ones. And but we'll take a bus tour around the fields. We'll see different parts of it, and also see some of the bugs. They don't get near you, don't worry. We'll stop for lunch in Beit She'an before we just keep driving south. Friday, Shabbat comes in early, the days are short, so we'll make our way right to Jerusalem, check in, and then join, weather permitting. The Masorti movement every Friday night has Kabbalat Shabbat now at the Egalitarian Kotel, or the Masorti Kotel. And so someone different leads it, and it's lovely. I really like going there, and it's obviously men and women together, and it's not so crazy. But after that, we'll go up to see all the crazy, the balagan, as we say in Hebrew, at the Kotel Plaza before coming back to the hotel for dinner. We're staying at the Trip, which is also a 4-star boutique hotel. It used to be the Bat Sheva, which was a dump, and they completely renovated, completely gutted it. And it's adorable, and also really, really nice food, and it's not too big. I like it. It's like it's very Hamish and very tasteful. And it's right on Karen Hayesod Street. So it's very close to going to Ben Yehuda. It's also very close to Moreshet Yisrael, which some people might know is the big Masorti conservative synagogue where the conservative yeshiva is. It's near the Great Synagogue. So it's in a very, very good location. Shabbat. So those who wish to go to Shabbat services at the Great Synagogue, like I mentioned, or there's the Reform Synagogue around the block, Har'el. There's also Moreshet Yisrael is very close by. And also just to have a day at leisure to explore different things. I've listed different places that might be open, that will be open. You can choose which one you might want to go to. And then in the afternoon, we're going to meet either with Issam Saad or Khalid Abu Tomeh. Issam is a refugee from, he's a refugee who lived in Gaza and had to flee Gaza because Hamas put a hit on him because he dared to say, you know, let's talk to Jews and Israelis aren't all running around with horns. And so he does a lot, he has his own grassroots coexistence program to get Palestinian teens to meet Israeli teens. So we either hear from him or with Khalid Abu Tomeh, who's a very respected, well-respected Arab-Israeli journalist, and who's a real expert on Palestinian political culture. So either one of those would be a unique and I think important voice to hear while we're going through Israel. We'll have a very light Suda Shlishi dinner at the hotel, and then Saturday night, we'll be going to the Tower of David Sound and Light Show, which is really amazing. It's done with lasers. It's projected on the facade, the outside of the building in the courtyard, and the music is incredible. So it's really, really great. But it's outside in Jerusalem in January, so it can be quite chilly. Not as bad as Boston, I assume, but bundle up for that. And then, because Shabbat goes out so early, that you'll have time after the show if you want to, it's near Mamilla, Jaffa Gate, or go down to Ben Yehuda, or explore as you want. Sunday, we'll start off with a political briefing from Yitzhak Sokolov, who happens to be the founder of Keshet. Rabbi Gordon knows him well, and his background is actually in political science and security. And so he'll be speaking to the group as an expert with his other hat, not his Keshet hat. And then we'll make our way to the Haas Promenade, overlooking the old city. I love to do a text study there from the Binding of Isaac, and also use modern art, not modern art, but use art as well. And then we'll make our way to the old city. We'll quickly visit the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and from the Christian quarter, and then make our way into the Jewish quarter, where you can have lunch and shop. You can divvy up your time however you want, depending on what's your priority. And then make our way down the stairs to the Southern Wall excavations. And there, it's a great spot to really look at the centrality of the temple in ancient times, but also talk about Haram el-Sharif, because that's where the Dome of the Rock is on the same spot as where the first and second temples were. So the discussion of the sanctity, the layers that we have in Jerusalem. So, and it's amazing that in such a short amount of time, we can really go to the major important sites of both Christianity, Judaism, and Islam that are all within, I don't know, a quarter mile of each other. And then we'll have time again at the Kotel when it's not Shabbat. So those of you who want to take pictures, if you want to put your notes in or things like that, are able to do so. And then we'll make our way to Machane Yehuda, which is the really big fruit and vegetable market, which also has gotten very, very hip over the past few years. And there's a lot of other things besides just tomatoes and cucumbers. And you'll have the evening at leisure. Monday will be our day trip down to the Dead Sea. So we'll get up early, head down. We can stop on the way and say hi to Shushi. And if you want to get a photo op with her, you're welcome to do so. Before we make our way to Masada, we'll take the cable car both up and down. Spend about an hour and a half up top. And I'll tell you, I'm a Masada myth buster. So you probably, what I'm going to do at Masada, you probably won't hear in many other places. But that's just a teaser. And we'll come back down, and there's like a food court for lunch, but also there's the gift store, which has a lot of Ahava products. So that's the place where a lot of people like to get that. And we'll have a chance to float in the Dead Sea at a private beach where we'll have towels and lockers and everything like that before coming back to Jerusalem.
Kayla, I want to just stop
Yes.
you for 1 second. One of the questions that came across in the chat was on Friday night, when
Mm-hmm.
we're coming back from the Kotel, will we, obviously it is going to be an uphill walk for those who are walking back. Will we have
Mm-hmm.
an option for people who are not able to walk uphill back to the hotel?
Yes, so we'll have the bus, and those who want to go into the bus, we'll put you on the bus, and then you'll meet us in the lobby back at the hotel. And those who wish to walk will walk back with me and the rabbi, and whoever else. And then we'll just rendezvous in the hotel lobby to go to dinner together.
So if
Because it's
somebody,
Shabbat dinner, so we
so
want
if
to make sure that
somebody's,
we do hamotzi and all that kind of stuff.
right, if somebody's not comfortable taking the bus back from the Kotel, but also the walk would be too strenuous, then they would simply go to the synagogue that's near the hotel, and we would make sure that that a couple of people did that, and we would all meet back at the hotel.
Right, right. So we can figure out and see who's going where, and figure out how to do that. That's not a problem.
I just wanted to mention that in particular because I'm sure one of the questions is, what about people who have some physical limitations? And I just wanted to give this as an example that we will always make sure when something more physically dramatic is happening that there are options, and that no one will be asked to walk extensively or do something that is too demanding without having a taxi option or some other option.
Right.
Okay.
Although, let me just say, the day before, the Old City Day can be challenging, and there's sort of no way around the fact that it's the Old City, it's stairs, and you have to be able to walk. But the way that it's done is that I'm limiting the up, so most of the time, if there are stairs, they'll be going down. But still, it's cobblestones, and especially if it's been at all rainy, they can be a little slippery. So I do want people to understand that that's a very challenging day. And you might need to say, I can only do half of it, and that's fine too. Just,
we will make that easy.
Right.
Kayla, go through the last couple of days a little quickly.
Okay, so we just did Monday, the Dead Sea in Masada. We come back Tuesday, and we're going to begin at the Supreme Court. We'll have a tour and then a meeting with one of the retired justices, and that's always wonderful to hear from them. And then we're going to really sort of go into the periphery. This is really off the beaten path. Very few people do these two things. One is there's an Arab village near Jerusalem called Ein Rafa, and there's this woman, Yasmin, who's she's young, a Muslim woman, and she really will talk a lot about her personal story and her journey to Islam and to Israel, and what it means to be an Arab minority in the Jewish state. And then we're going to meet with Sharon Shalom, who is an Ethiopian rabbi. He came as a child, and his shul is Ashkenazim, so he speaks a bissel of Yiddish. And he's brilliant, and he just also did his PhD at Bar Ilan, and he's one of the most inspiring people I've ever met. You'll love him.
He's been doing some teaching at Brandeis, and he knows our work.
Oh, really?
Well.
At
Yes.
Brandeis, wonderful. Okay, so he also is at Hartman, and he's really
Very
his whole
special.
idea is unity of the Jewish people. Doesn't matter what you look like, what language you speak, where you came from. We're all one.
Right.
So that's Tuesday, and then Wednesday. So we'll begin in the morning with someone from Iraq. So they do a lot of issues of civil rights, pluralist rights. So the idea of having, that there's no separation of religion and state in Israel. So that when that comes to the Orthodoxy having a monopoly on weddings and on kashrut and on divorce and all these other things, public transportation, whatever. So to meet with someone who will talk about what they're trying to do to make sure that Judaism, that Israel respects Jews from no matter what denomination, and other people in the society. So they do great work. Go to Yad Kashish, which is one of my mom's favorite places, and this is a sheltered workshop. So to meet with people who are, many of them immigrants, and there they go, they work, they make things that are sold in the gift shop, which you'll have time to visit. They get a hot meal, they get a bus pass, there's social worker checks up on them. It's an amazing mitzvah project. And then we've got to have some Hadassah ladies in the program like me. So of course we will go visit the Chagall windows at Hadassah. And then everyone have a little bit of free time before we make our way to farewell dinner and go to the airport. So if it's on United, their flight's at 11:30 p.m. And if it's on El Al, it's at 12:30 a.m. And back in Boston on Thursday.
Kayla, another question is, what kind of weather can we anticipate? What kind of clothing?
Right. So we'll send you a few months before the trip, actually a pre-trip info sheet with packing lists, suggestions, cell phone rental, money, all different things, reading list. But for the most part, hopefully it'll be rainy. I know I hate to say that, but we need the rain. But it can be quite chilly in Jerusalem in January, especially at night, layers, but they could also be beautiful. Could be 60 degrees, 60 degrees in Tel Aviv as well. The Dead Sea will probably be fairly warm, but it could also be in the high 30s, low 40s at night in Jerusalem. Every so often we get snow and the whole world shuts down for this much. So,
can everybody?
But it hasn't snowed in a few years.
Can everybody see the pricing document? Kayla, is that up right now on your screen?
No, I still have the itinerary.
Okay, I'm going to stop and try it one more time. Hold on a second. Here we go. Okay.
Great. Okay, so the air and land package that we have here is $40.90. That's based on double occupancy, so that's per person. And that right now is based with the flights, I believe, on United. It'll say down, if we scroll down, well, actually I should have the flight information. There it is. There are the flights on United. Scroll back up, sorry. If you wish to, in addition to that, there's the tips, the standard tips of $108, because we feel that you should get that ahead of time and not keep asking people as they go along, just keep dipping into their pockets. We want to be upfront about what's included and what isn't. And the price is based on 21 participants. So the rabbi and 20 other people, basically. If you are in a single room, there is an additional $650. And right now the flights on United are $1,300. So if you do decide you have points and you want to make your own arrangements, then you just can sign up with us land only as opposed to the air and land package, and then you're responsible for your own flights.
So I'm going to stop for right now. So for everybody, what we wanted to do tonight was, first of all, give everybody a chance to meet Kayla, hear her voice, get a little sense of her enthusiasm, and to give you a sense of the trip. So I hope we've accomplished that. The pricing document and all the registration information, including cancellation insurance, all of that is now available on the B'nai Tikva website. It was all sent out, I believe, this morning from the office. So, and I am available to answer any questions that you might have, any other specifics about the trip and about the pricing and so on. And what I'd like to do is we'll set up a 1-hour meeting for everybody with me and Kayla for closer to the date of the first deadline. So I'll stay in communication with everybody. Please do let me know if this is looking good for you or if this is a non-starter for some reason. Let's talk about that. And I'll reconvene everybody in a couple of months for a longer, fuller conversation with more questions. Is there anything I really want to make sure that we can end this and get everybody ready for Mincha and Ma'ariv, the next thing? Oh. I think, okay. I think we've been cut off. So I think we need to stop now. I'm going to turn things over to davening. And good night, everybody. I'm sorry that we didn't have more time, and we will resume this conversation again soon. Thank you, Kayla.
All right.
Thank you,
Chag
Kayla.
Sameach to everybody.
Chag Sameach to you too. Enjoy Pesach with your parents.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.